today we're going to talk about circles, and circles have equations on the, we're going to talk about circles on the coordinate plane. I know we've been talking about circles like forever, but circles on the coordinate plane have an equation just like a line. Like if I ask you for the equation of a line, you'd say y equals mx plus b. Well, and every single line can be written in that method, right? So a circle has the same kind of thing. I mean, it's not y equals mx plus b, but it's got its own equation. And what you need to write the equation of a line is the center, or the equation of a circle is the center of the circle, which we are going to call, instead of xy for that ordered pair, we're going to call it hk. And you'll get used to that. I mean, it's going to also occur in parabolas and ellipses and all these other things that we're going to study next year. So just remember, the center of the circle is hk. It's like a special ordered pair. Instead of calling it x2, y2, or whatever, we're just going to call it hk. And then any point on the circle is going to be an xy. Okay? All right, so if I want to find the radius of this circle, I'm looking for the distance between the center and a point on the line, or on the circle. So the distance formula is going to work, x2 minus x1 plus y2 minus y1 squared. And in this case, instead of x1 and y1 and x2 and y2, we're going to have x and y, but then we're going to also have h and k. So I'm going to rewrite the distance formula, and in this case, the distance is going to be the radius, right? That's what we're going to end up with. So the radius is equal to x minus h squared plus y minus k squared. Okay? Same formula, just using different, more specific letters to a circle. All right, now I want to get rid of this square root symbol. So I'm going to square both sides. So r squared just becomes r squared. And remember that square and square root are opposite functions of each other, so they're going to cancel. So all I end up with is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared. And that actually is the equation of a circle. It's the radius squared is equal to x minus h squared plus y minus k squared. And so you'll notice whenever you see this, you take the square root of that number and it gives you the radius, and the center of the circle will always be those two numbers there. And we're going to use that to write equations of circles. Okay? Now let me give you the most famous, most basic circle, and that is called the unit circle. And that unit circle, if I looked at a graph of it, would have its center at 0, 0, and it would have a radius of 1 all the way around. So it would look like that. Okay? So the h and the k are 0, 0, because the center of the circle is at the origin at 0, 0. So this term here is actually x minus 0 squared, and this term here is actually y minus 0 squared. But x minus 0 squared is just x, and y minus 0 squared is just y. So the unit circle, we know r is 1, so it's 1 squared, which is 1, equals x squared plus y squared. And that's the most basic circle that you can come up with. Okay? Now, let's do some more interesting ones. If I'm going to write the equation of a circle, all my centers got deleted. It has a center at 0, negative 3, and a radius of 8. So again, remember, my formula is r squared equals x minus h squared plus y minus k squared. All right, so we know r is 8, so I'm going to put 8 squared equals, and then h is here, so it's x minus 0 squared plus, and k is right there, right there. So it's y minus negative 3, so that'd be plus 3 squared. And if I clean that up a little bit, 8 squared is 64. X minus 0 is just x, so it's x squared. And y plus 3 squared can't change, so it's y plus 3 squared. So that's the formula for the um, equation of a circle. Okay, now we're going to do, in Algebra 2, you're going to be able to do a lot of stuff with that. But this year, we just want to learn how to write the equation. So if I were going to graph that, I know the radius is the square root of this. The radius is 8, and I know the center is at 0, negative 3. So it would be at 0 and then negative 3. And I know the radius is 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it would be like here and then over 8. So here, down 8, here, and over 8. So the circle would be like right through here. Okay? All right, let's try another one. Let me kind of move this circle out of here. All right. Circle M has a center of 2, 2, and it's tangent to the x-axis. So they didn't give us a radius, but they did give us enough clues to find the radius. So think about if its center is at 2, 2, so there's a center, and it's tangent to the x-axis. So that means if I'm going to draw it, I know that it's going to go right by the x-axis like that and touch it and then move on. So I know, so that tells me that the center's here, it's going to hit right there. So the length of that segment is 2. That's the radius. All right, so just by kind of sketching it, I know that r is going to be 2. So then all I have to do is plug it into my formula. R squared is equal to x minus h squared plus y minus k squared. The only thing I can really do to clean it up here is just to change the 2 squared to 4. And everything else is as clean as it's going to get. All right, and then the last one here, it has circle K that passes through J, which is 6, 4, and K, and the center, K, which is 1, negative 8. So let's take a look at that real quick, like on a graph. So its center is at 1, negative 8. So I go over 1, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's its center, okay? And its a point on the line is at 6, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's a point on the line. So you'll see that its radius is this big long line right here. But to write it into the equation of a circle, I need to know the length of that radius. So I'm going to use the distance formula to find what that length is between 6, 4 and negative 1, 8. So it's x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus negative 8, so plus 8 squared. That's 5 squared plus 12 squared. 25 plus 144 is 169. And 1 square root of 169. 169 is a perfect square, so that's 13. So r is 13. Okay, so if the distance from the center of my circle to the out to a point on it is 13. So now I've got my r, I've got my h and k, so I can plug it in. 13 squared is equal to x minus h squared plus y minus k squared, right? Minus the negative 8's plus 8. And again, the only thing really for this one I can clean up is the 13 squared, which is 169. So 169 is equal to x minus 1 squared plus y plus 8 squared. All right, now let's go the other way. Let's take the equation already given to us and graph it. All right, so remember that we need the center and we need the radius. So this was x minus 0 squared, and this one was y minus 0 squared. So the center is at 0, 0. And the radius, well, r squared is 9, so I take the square root of both sides, and I get r is 3. So to graph that, I know the center is at 0, 0. I know the radius is 3. And remember, radiuses are all the same, so I'm going to pick enough to graph my circle, but count them easily. So if it's 3, I'm going to go up 3, 1, 2, 3, to the right 3, 1, 2, 3, down 3, 1, 2, 3, and 2, 3 to the right. Okay, so that's going to give me sort of a bare outline to draw my circle. And then all I have to do is sort of make sure I go through all those points, and that gives me my circle. All right, let's try another one. All right, my center, remember this is y minus 0, so my center is at 3, 0, and my radius, r squared, is 1, so r is also 1. So my center is at 1, 2, 3, 0. Okay, because like this is h, and there's k, which is 0 there. And then the radius is 1, so it's going to go up 1, over 1, down 1, and right 1. Because those are my 4 easiest points to count. And then I'm going to draw a little tiny circle through those points. That's not a very good circle. Okay, get the idea? Let's see if I can do a little bit better circle. I know it's not that important, but it's bugging me. Okay. All right. Why don't you take a second and try to graph these two? Okay, so that's what your graph should look like. Let me just point out one thing on this one. It was not in circle, it was not in circle form, so we had to rearrange it. Just like if you have a line that's not y equals mx plus b, you have to rearrange it to get it in that form. Same thing here. So since it was 4 minus x plus 1 squared, I just added x plus 1 squared to both sides. So I ended up with x plus 1 squared plus y minus 3 squared equals 4. So I just moved this, this piece over here over there so that it's in equation form. All right, and then from there it was easy to pick out the h, the k, and the r. All right, okay, so we're going to work on that in class Monday morning. All right, see you then. Bye.